Welcome back to Watching Film and Varnadore Films. I am Seth Varnadore. I'm a former high school and college football coach. Now I break down games on YouTube for Alligator Army. And I've got a Tennessee preview this week. So Florida's obviously going into a tough game in Knoxville. What can we expect to see on the field schematically from Tennessee? Let's take a look. We'll start with their defense. So they're pretty not super multiple in defense, but they're a base 4-2-5. Right, we see the 4, the 2, and the 5 there, right? That's their base. Not too dissimilar from many teams around the country, right? A 4-2-5 base that's kind of in vogue for stopping spread offenses. They'll run a variety of coverage, and we'll talk about those here. But I think you'll see some blitz, some quarter. You'll see some cover one. You'll see some blitz coverage. You'll see quarter, half. You'll see quarters, cover 3 maybe. But they are aggressive. A lot of man. They played a good bit of man against Pitt. So here, early in the game, you see they bring the corner. Tight end gets free. One thing I think the linebackers are a little nosy for run. They're coming up and fitting the run. So RPO, play action. Pitt had some success with that. Here, to me, it looks like quarter, half, where you're getting this side. Looks like they're dropping to deep fourths. He's got deep half. He looks like he's a cloud corner. So it could be quarter, half. But they will play quarters coverages where these guys have eyes on number 2 on both sides and can play off 2. Played pretty well against Pitt. Gave up a couple big runs, but and Pitt threw the ball with some success, but nothing crazy. The Pitt was able to kind of get them here when you get them in kind of a deeper look here. This might be a quarter, half look as well. If you can push them vertical, hit some stuff underneath. But I think you're going to get a heavy dose. If I'm playing Florida, I would imagine you get a heavy dose of blitz and man coverage. Load up the box, try to stop the run game. Tennessee got home against Pitt with some good blitzes, but here you see, like I said, normally a 4-2-5, but they'll go to a change-up sometimes. I think your change-up is like a tight front where these two guys walk up, and then you have, and we'll see it from the backside, more like 4 eyes and more like an odd front presentation there with 2 guys walked up. But if you take a backer out of the box or you stay in kind of 4-2-5 personnel and do that, right, it kind of leaves you exposed for stuff like this. Right, so it looks like a 4-eye. He looks like a 4-eye, a 3 here. So this looks like a tight front to me. All they did is walk the backer up here. So, like, it's still a 6-man box. So if you can kind of get this front block and hold the linebacker here with pass elements, we'll go back to this view. Pitt's got like slant flat on here, so he gets held with the RPO look. We're able to block this here, 5-on-5, and then you get a big run like that. So if you're Florida, that's obviously something you want to be able to do is run the football. Here it is from the back view, right? RPO, it would be nice to see a mix of some RPO in there with some quick game. We haven't seen a ton of that from Florida, but it's in the playbook. They did it in the spring game, so that'd be nice to see. Here you see some man coverage. Looks like you're playing 1. Rolling to the middle here. Right. This is kind of the turning point for the game here. Able to get a tip drill interception, and that kind of helped Tennessee get untracked a little bit. But you can see blitz. Pitt's able to complete the pass here against what looks to me like a cover 3 type look. It looks like a bust as well in the coverage, but at least you got 3 deep. So they'll mix up the coverage. They'll start in 2 high and roll to 1 high. right? You'll see that, but they're not afraid to bring pressure and bring blitz, but they have busted. So right here is a total coverage bust. Again, it looks like you're playing. All right, so you kind of have a too high presentation right before the snap here. He rolls down, he rolls to the middle. The stack doesn't get distributed great. He's got eyes on number 1, right? He's got 2. The back comes out. I think he thinks the back becomes the new number 2. So he goes to him. The tight end's able to kind of slip out there on the wheel route. So just a bust in coverage there. And then a great play by the tight end going into the end zone there. So here's a look where you show a lot of pressure. You end up only bringing 4. So great look here. You bring 4. And you actually bring him all the way over here, I think, to probably try to pick for something hot coming back this way, right? Something hot. If they see this blitz right here, he's looking for number 2 breaking in. He's looking for 3 breaking in probably, right? For the hot. They don't see it in time. Quarterback gets smoked in the back for a big loss. Here's the other view of it. I think I would imagine Florida will see a good bit of blitz in this game. Tennessee's not afraid. You see how they play the game here. Really nice job. Eats this up, kind of eats up both guys, loop him around, and then bring one off the edge. Really hard to block up. So he's got these 2 ate up, and then him kind of brings both eyes this way, and nobody sees the guy coming off the edge for the kill shot. Now on the other side of it, if the quarterback works this side first, he's got the tight end right now for a first down. I think some stick concepts with the RPO could put them in conflict, but they're going to be aggressive. You see here, they're not afraid just to play downhill. And this is kind of backups, I think. But you still get, when backups come in, you get a good look at what your base defense is. Pitt was able to have a little bit of success on the ground, and I think Florida will be able to as well. Right here, Pitt's in 12 personnel. How is Tennessee going to match up with Florida's 12 personnel? They're going to stay in their 4-2-5 base, like nickel base, or they're going to bring another backer on the field. If they stay in the nickel base, you got to make them pay with your big bodies, right? And Pitt was able to do that there. Bringing pressure again. I would suspect Florida sees a lot of that. But this is something Florida can do to combat that. I think this would be great early. They're going to be hyped up, excited for the game. Bust out a screen to one of your backs, get them in some space, get linemen leading out front. If you're going to play man coverage and bring pressure, screen can be a great call against that. So I wonder if we'll see some screen early. And they also had a punt blocked. So still waiting for the game changer label to take shape. It hasn't really changed games for the better for Florida yet. This would be a great week for them to break that out. Now I'll talk about the Tennessee offense. I've got a really extensive video. If you're really interested in Josh Heupel's offense, I think, a video that's close to an hour long on his offense when he was at UCF. I'll put that at the end, kind of one of the links at the end there if you're interested in that. But just real quick, what does Tennessee like to do? They do some gap run game here. They're running just power on the goal line. So gap is down blocks and pulls typically. Florida did not fit up gap runs well against USF. That's what USF had a lot of success with last week, is reads and gaps. Tennessee will also run kind of traditional zone read, but they do a lot of gap runs. They also run their quarterback. Here is a scramble, but they'll run him on design draws, and he's a weapon in the running game. Here's a design draw. He's a tough, rugged runner. He's a weapon for you in both aspects, right? He's a really good runner, and you'll see here he can throw some bombs down the field as well. Here he is on a design run. It gets called back for a hold in first drive here of overtime. Just see he can add a different element for them, right? And he's probably going to be one of the better runners Florida sees at the quarterback position. Off the run, right? If we go run, love a little wide pop off of it. Get a little tight end pop there. Do it in a few different ways. We'll see that. You also get they added this wrinkle as well. You get a little speed option. That was something they ran a few times against Akron for really, really a lot of success. After seeing how Florida played Reeds last week, I bet they would break that out. Here's another look at the Y pop. One thing Hooker does a really good job is sitting in the pocket and kind of if he needs to sit in there to get the ball off, he's going to do what he needs to because he knows he's got a good play. He's here. You get a little jump pass, puts it on the tight end for a good play. Here's another look at the Y pop there from another angle. But this is kind of when you're thinking this Heupel offense is kind of this Baylor-esque system. This is what you're thinking. You're thinking shots down the field, vertical shots, and they definitely do that. They spread you out so it becomes one-on-ones everywhere, and they take their shots. They love to do switches. Like, look, first of all, look how wide this is. The ball's on the left hash, and you've got one guy on the top of the numbers, one guy splitting the difference between the sideline and the numbers. That is super wide. And now you're going to kind of mix in a switch release. So they widen you out so much and go deep so much that it becomes one-on-one. There's not much, even if you're trying to play some type of zone, there's so much space to cover that it becomes one-on-one in that space. If you got the quarterback that can do it, it's a great idea. Against Pitt, same thing. Shots down the field, one-on-one shots. They'll get you in these stacks. So they'll get you in these stacks a lot too. Throw a bunch of screens, block, block, block. And then all of a sudden they're running by. Florida saw that last year in their game. Then here in overtime, the game winner. Again, Hooker's going to do what he can to get the ball off. They do a lot of vertical choice where they'll kind of pick one receiver and everybody else will kind of run. Or they did at UCF at least, a lot of vertical choice where they'll pick one receiver. Everybody else will kind of run a dummy route and give him a bunch of field to work with. You kind of see a little bit of that here possibly where he's just going to kind of run inside, take those eyes away, and leave you the one-on-one outside here. So really, really fun offense to watch. If they're compressed splits, you got to assume something's breaking out, right? So smash. They don't compress their splits a lot. So if you're getting this compressed split, I'd imagine something's coming outside here. They don't. You see how wide they are normally. If they're bringing them in, that's for a reason. They'll also kind of, if you're going to continue to play one-on-one and you start bringing pressure, they'll hit you underneath with slants. They love double slants here. You catch one, run out your catch opportunity, take it to the house. Here, again, look how wide you are at the snap. So that double slant, look at all this room I have to work basically now for my slant route. I just got to win in that space. He does for a first down. Then, right, they push a vertical, then they can start throwing it underneath. But there's two things that can go wrong, right, if you're throwing this much vertical. One, right, obviously passes further down the field are tougher to complete just even on air. So if you miss, you can get them here. They got them in third and long. Miss, you're off the field. The other thing is these take time to develop. Pitt brought a ton of pressure, and that kind of seemed to get to Tennessee at times. They got the quarterback quite a few times, and you see by the time that these guys are getting there, nobody's breaking hot. These things are getting ready to they're still pushing the ball downfield. So this could be an area where if Florida maybe gets a little more aggressive, Pitt was able to cause some pressure when they blitzed and brought some guys. And if Tennessee wants to maintain being so vertical and taking those shots, it takes time for those routes to develop. So you might be able to bring some more pressure, get the quarterback on the ground. You just obviously have to maintain your rush lanes a lot better than you did last week against USF. All right, so that's it for the Tennessee preview. Just wanted to put something together really quick. Obviously, Tennessee's got a really good offense. Their defense has been better than expected. It will be interesting to see how Florida plays it and if Tennessee decides to go really heavy man coverage, because that can expose you to more explosive plays in the passing game. But if I'm an opposing defensive coordinator against Florida, I'm not super worried about explosives in the passing game. You have to show it to me before I respect it. So I would expect Tennessee to play man coverage, load up the box, blitz, be really aggressive on defense, and then they're going to play how they play on offense, really fast, take shots down the field. You just got to be prepared for that tempo and everything. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment, like the video. Let's game the YouTube algorithm together.